Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of your show, The Untold. I'm your host, Fatma Awali, and with me is my co-host, Dejul Hoturi. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Fatma, and welcome everyone to this new episode. Today is gonna be very interesting, right?
It will be very interesting because we have the pleasure of hosting the one and only
Yes,
Mr.
Mr.
Ashok Kalra, and he is a prominent figure in Indian cuisine in Kuwait. And of course, we're very humbled by this experience. I can't wait actually to meet him. I was reading the questions, and I know that he's been here in Kuwait living for over 40 years,
Yes. So he
right?
got quite a lot stories and experiences here, and he's humble, he's nice, he's kind, and he got a lot of things for us to learn and to remember as well.
Yes, and this is not the first time I meet him, but every time I meet him, I learn a lesson from him. And this is true, I promise you. Like, for example, he's an entrepreneur. He knows how to make you loyal to his brand or to his,
Yes.
theme, let's say. So we can't wait to start the interview.
All right, so let's take a quick break and get back to you. All right, so welcome, Mr. Ashok, to the Untold. It's a pleasure having you here with us.
Well, thanks for inviting me for this prestigious show. Love to meet both of you.
Thank you very much. Do you want to start with the questions?
Yes, I will do.
Okay.
All right, so let's begin with the early inspiration of Mr. Ashok. Now, what are some of the your earliest memories surrounding food and cooking?
Well, the earliest what I can you took me to my childhood. Let me put it this way. That's what you are trying to ask me, and I can tell you that during my childhood, I had a nose for the flavors, and I could easily identify when I used to come back home from my school that what my mother is cooking. So that I had to help my mother. You know, in olden times, we had big families, so I used to assist my mother in cooking. So that's how
How it
that
all
thing-
started.
yeah, that all spirit of cooking started within myself.
That's amazing. Wow. So when we talk about science and hotel management, this is a very interesting combination, actually.
Yeah.
How did they prepare you for your journey in culinary, in the culinary world?
Well, initially I did degree in science. I was a science graduate, but later on I just observed that normally everybody opted to become an engineer or a doctor, but I had a taste for cooking, so that's how I entered and I did the degree in hotel management. So although science and hotel management appear to be not compatible, but in my case, after doing both, being a graduate in science and holding a degree in hotel management, it complemented. How? Because when I had a close watch on the food, and science helped me that how the cooked food is reacting on the human body. Whereas catering, when I started doing it, it helped, the science background helped me to provide nutritive food.
This is
So
interesting.
science
Wow.
and hotel management complemented each other in my case.
That's amazing. So they actually, the combination helped you.
Helped me, yes.
Yes,
In my
to-
business, in my profession.
That's actually very. I mean, who would have thought about this,
I
right?
don't, yeah, exactly.
This is very interesting, Mr. Ashok. Well, now let's talk about the legacy of your family. Now we know that your father's experience here in Kuwait predates your experience in Kuwait. He was here before, and did that actually influence you to come to Kuwait?
Yes, definitely, because my father was a diplomat here from 64 to 67. And during those days, I used to study in India. So we didn't have high school in Kuwait at that time. So I used to come and visit my parents. So when I started my career way back in late 70s in Iran, it was a challenging time over there because of the instability in the country.
Right.
So I was offered to move from Tehran to two different countries. I chose Kuwait
Wow.
Because of your father?
because of my old memories, what I could recollect when my parents were here. And I think I made a very right decision because the best thing in Kuwait is it's a land of peace and stability. That really prompted me to accept Kuwait.
Wow. And continuing on that, how has this differed from your experience working in Iran? And what made Kuwait such a welcoming place for you and your family?
Well, when I moved from Tehran, I was working in a very prestigious chain of hotels in Tehran, and luckily I got the same chain in Kuwait. And by working in this prestigious chain in Kuwait, I get to know more and more people in Kuwaiti society. I started knowing more and more about their eating habits. I started knowing more and more about the Kuwaiti culture. So that's what prompted me to enter into business.
Wow.
Like you started actually at some of Kuwait's most renowned establishments. What are like some of the most valuable lessons you learned during that time?
Well, those lessons really prompted me to enter into business, what I am doing today. And those lessons were people were nice, the culture of the country was superb, people were humble, peaceful country with lot of facilities. So these were the few things which registered in my mind, and I entered into business.
That's amazing. And if we're talking, Mr. Ashok, about a pivotal moment, you were entrusted with a significant role at the Islamic conference. Please share the experience.
Well, that I'll definitely like to share. It's a very good question, and I was selected by Diwan Amiri and this responsibility was given to me to cater the needs of the majesties, kings, presidents, those who came to Kuwait and attended the 5th Islamic conference. And it was really a challenging position, but till today that particular event was managed by my team and myself so successfully that I still treasure that event till today.
Now let's jump back to when you were working in the old company here in Kuwait. Now you had to deal with customers and you had some insights.
I got a chance to interact with people.
Yes, so
Yeah.
how did this help you improve with your future business?
No, by working in these reputed establishments, as I told you earlier, it gave me a chance to interact with all the Kuwaiti community and the expected community in Kuwait. They used to come and book the events in that reputed hotel where I was working. So that gave me a very good knowledge about their eating habits and what kind of food do they like.
And what kind of food they preferred?
Well, they always preferred Indian food or your Kuwaiti food, majboos, which
Yes.
very much resembles with our Indian cuisine.
Yes.
So that really gave me, really boosted me up to leave the job and be an entrepreneur.
Wow, that's amazing.
You-
So
you took the risk. But
Yes.
it was
Yeah,
worth it.
It was a challenging risk. I left a very good job, whatever I was getting at that time. But it was a challenge, and business is a challenge.
Yes.
And if somebody wants to become an entrepreneur, definitely you have to risk.
You
Now-
take that step.
You
Yes.
have to take that step.
And in the spirit of entrepreneurship, now leaving a secure job, as you've mentioned, and jumping into this adventure, tell us about the first or the most challenges that you faced.
You see, it was a challenge, but I was very confident. Just to give you a little bit of my background, I accepted this challenge because I was myself a chef. After doing degree in hotel management, I started my career as a chef with the most prestigious chain of hotel in India. So I had specialized in Indian and French cuisine.
Wow.
So that was something, a kind of a skill I had in my hands, which encouraged me to open the first restaurant in 1985 in Kuwait.
Would you say that French cuisine is also famous in Kuwait?
Well, it is famous in the shape of a fusion.
Oh, nice.
You see, now we are taking help of French cuisine to make it fusion with Indian cuisine.
That's
Yes,
amazing.
it is.
How did you approach the challenge of, introducing the Indian cuisine to Kuwaitis and, to let them adapt to what you offer?
Yeah, you see, as I told you earlier, that I have been working in a very prestigious chain of hotel and, of course, Kuwait Oil Company, which is again a very prestigious government organization. So I happened to meet a lot of Kuwaitis, a lot of people over there. So the taste was very clear to me that what they are exactly looking for. Only thing which was missing in Kuwait at that time when I opened was food was being served in Kuwait. I will not call myself as a pioneer, but I will definitely with confidence say that I converted the recipes of my menu, whatever I compiled at that time, as per the local taste. I knew exactly what kind of spices they will accept and what they will not accept. So that's how I understood and I started this business.
Okay.
Nice.
And you've just mentioned that you slowly developed your menu.
Yeah.
What made you sure that this was a Kuwaiti preference? For example, Indian food is vast and
Yes, it
there's
is
a
what-
lot
yeah,
of
yeah,
variety,
yeah, yeah,
south
yeah.
and north.
Yes, I do
So
agree.
how did you cater this into the menu?
You see, we have 100 years back, we have still trade relations with Kuwait, and it has been going on since, right? And Kuwaitis, they knew about our Indian food. Only thing was the question of spices. So we exactly knew that initially they will not be able to accept a very spicy food. So whenever we were approached or my staff used to approach to any guest in my restaurant, we used to check what kind of spices you would like to have, less, medium or none. So the beauty of my kitchens were that whatever we prepare, even till today, is prepared at the last minute as per the requirement of each and every guest.
That's
If there is a table of 10 and if 10 come up with a variety of requests, we do it.
On the
And
spot.
on the spot in the kitchen.
That's amazing.
Nothing is kept prepared. Everything is done a la minute. That's why our food is always fresh. And that's why today we are surviving in the market for the last 40 years.
That's amazing. So it's like a bespoke experience. It's like customized. It's like
Yes.
building the Taj Mahal.
Yes, you're right. We customize the dish as per your taste.
And like you actually focus not only on that, like the quality, and it's affordable for people. And I think this is what like maybe shaped the restaurants, right?
These two things are very, very important. Consistency of your recipes, consistency of your service, and of course the affordability. You see, although Kuwait is a rich country, there is no dearth of money. Everybody is rich over here. But still, one should not keep in mind that, okay, it's a rich country, you charge whatever you feel like. You have to be very reasonable so that each and every individual who is living in the country should be able to afford.
That's amazing.
I mean, definitely people looking for, delicious, affordable food. And this is a key to success, I would say, in
Yes,
my
this,
point of
this
view.
is the main, and we focused on that.
All right.
So I do have the question about Jahra, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so you are one of the first India cuisine in Jahra, or India cuisine specialty in Jahra. Can you please tell us about the decision?
Yes, about 17, 18 years back, of course, Jahra market was a very raw market. There was no restaurants at all. There was small shawarma shops and things like that. So we were the first one to take that step. And I tell you that Jahra branch is one of our most now successful branch.
Mashallah.
That's
after
amazing.
our city branch.
Wow.
And the food is very well accepted. And 95% of our clientele is Kuwaitis in that area.
Yes.
As you know, Jahra is
Yes.
a heavily populated Kuwaiti area.
Yes.
So, and we are really blessed to be there in that location.
And it differs from the city branch. The city branch, I mean, you have, a lot of people, a combination of cultures.
Yes,
But,
definitely.
yes.
But in
Jahra,
Jahra,
it was
95% you will
mostly, yes,
find.
yeah.
And to add one more thing for the success of Jahra, we initially started with a 40-seat restaurant. And today it's 140 seats.
Wow.
Nice.
So
Mashallah.
slowly
40
and
seats,
slowly and
100.
gradually we started
60 more.
expanding because the demand was there, acceptance was there, so need was there. So we increased the cabin part
That's very nice.
Yeah.
because families in Jahra they prefer a private area for dining.
All right, that's actually very interesting and nice and
Yeah.
successful. Let's continue and talk more about the successful story of Mr. Ashok, but right after the break. And welcome back, dear viewers. And of course, we're back to you, Mr. Ashok. And of course, we have more questions to ask. And right now, let's talk about post-war, like Kuwait war. You said that previously off air that there were like a success story behind that, and people were more into the food and restaurant. Can you elaborate and tell us the story behind that?
Well, as far as the post-war is concerned, during invasion time, a lot of people were out of Kuwait,
Definitely, yes, they live.
right? And before invasion, restaurants were not so busy, and people had different eating habits. But during the occupation period of Kuwait, a lot of people were outside Kuwait, and when they came back, we noticed that the eating habits of every individual had changed. They started getting together more and more outside in the restaurants. The restaurants started booming. More and more restaurants started mushrooming up. The reason was that people got more aware about the restaurant life because they had spent some time during the occupation. They were forced to spend some time during the occupation. But that
because
brought a boom.
Because
to this
they
country.
lived outside, they had to try the restaurants out
Yes,
there,
yes.
and when they came back, they decided, let's continue exploring. And
Correct.
Yes.
And that's why today you see so many cuisines in
Yeah.
Kuwait because people's eating habits have changed tremendously.
is this a good thing?
It's a very good thing for the restaurant business.
Yes, yes. That's
It's
why
an-
it's not saturated
It's an
yet,
excellent thing.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only thing you have to keep in mind the quality and the service, and of course the value for money.
Right.
If these three things are taken into consideration, I don't think you can fail in Kuwait.
So, speaking of consideration, many consider you a key figure in popularizing Indian food in Kuwait. How does that make you feel, and what do you attribute the success to?
Well, I will not take this compliment as 100% for myself. Let me be very clear. Although we played a very vital role in making the Indian cuisine popular in Kuwait, but I will give credit to the Kuwaitis and to the people, those who are living in Kuwait. They were already familiar with the Indian food because a lot of them, they have been traveling to India. It was nothing new to them.
Yes.
But only the role what I played, and I repeat again, is that we developed the recipes as per the local taste. That kind of a credibility I will accept. But to make it popular, I wouldn't.
Because
So-
yes, because it was popularized already.
Yeah,
That's what you mean. Yes.
Everybody knew about Indian cuisine, but everybody did not have the courage to taste because of the spices. We only molded each and every recipe as per the taste of the individual in this country. For that, definitely me or my team or my partners will take the credit.
So the customization,
Yeah.
Yes.
it was the key to
Our success
to
in
the
this
success.
country.
Dej, how spicy do you like your food?
medium spicy.
Yes.
Okay,
So we
medium
were the
spicy.
first one in Kuwait in 85 to question the guest. My staff used to say non-spicy, less spicy, medium spicy, spicy. And there is no term for very spicy. Then it means if you say very spicy, means the cook will run whatever he feels like. Yeah.
How do you prefer it?
Medium spicy is all I can do now. I tried spicy at your restaurant
Spicy
actually,
is too
but
hot. even I
You're
don't
not.
accept.
I don't see how people enjoy eating the.
I-
People
yeah.
do enjoy. Now, people coming from South India, just South Indians, they love to have spicy food.
I have this question
Yes.
now. If I'm used or like started getting used to spicy food, is that real? If I eat a lot of spicy food, then spicy will be less spicy. I don't know if you,
You
get
mean
the
the
picture.
tolerance? You're
Yes,
building
the
the
tolerance,
tolerance
yes.
for spicy food?
Yeah, if you start eating very spicy food and all of a sudden a less spicy food is served to you, you will find it insipid.
Oh,
You will say,
wow.
what the hell I am eating?
Yes.
So I should have ordered spicy. It happens. It does happen.
That's
All right,
amazing.
nice.
You know, my dad, he eats very spicy. I mean, not very spicy. As you've mentioned,
Yeah,
spicy.
but I don't
Yes.
recommend anyone to eat very spicy.
No.
Because it can affect your health also.
Yes.
So up till less spicy to medium is good
Yes.
for health.
Yeah, medium
And
is an
all
adventure.
Indian spices, they have medicinal values also. So
I
if you
agree.
really want to avail that medicinal values, you should just stay between less and medium.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, now let's talk about the future.
Yeah.
So you built a quite beautiful reputation, you and your partners, and you built actually an empire, right? So how about the future? What's going to happen?
Well, I think the future is still very bright in Kuwait. The most important thing is Kuwait is a very stable and a peaceful country. Still, there is a scope for the growth. Although I have 12 outlets, we are all around Kuwait. Whichever area you move, you will find
Yes.
my business outlet over there. Now we are thinking on the lines of little bit of fusion, because the young generation between 20 and 35, they are now looking for fancy foods rather than nutritious. They are more or less looking at fusion, good plating,
The trendy.
the trendy food. The food remains the same, but we are going to serve it in a trendy way. So that's our next thing in our mind,
That's very smart.
to open either in Kuwait, or we have a lot of requests from Emirates and Saudi to come up with a fusion cuisine. So we are still working on that.
This is interesting. I can't wait to see that.
I think it's going to be a very big trend then, yes.
Yes.
Now, speaking of the aspiring chefs, let's talk about aspiring chefs in restaurants or restaurants. Especially those looking to introduce the new cuisine, like you've mentioned. What piece of advice would you give them?
Well, I'll just give them one line piece of advice. They have to be persistent, they have to be resilient, they have to be ready to accept the challenge, and whenever the opportunity comes to open some business, they should go ahead, provided they are persistent and they have resilient.
Interesting. Yes.
I know aside of the business and aside of everything, but not food. So, regarding your favorite, you built a taste of food here in Kuwait. So, what's your favorite dish? A Kuwaiti dish?
A Kuwaiti dish?
Yes.
Kuwaiti dish, I am fond of majboos bil laham.
I was going to say that.
Majboos bil laham and majboos bil dajaj.
Yes.
These two are my favorites.
Chicken and
of
meat.
course, seafood, you can't miss it, because Kuwait is known for its
Yes.
seafood.
Yeah, I agree.
Anybody coming from India, definitely I'll make sure that he eats hamur and prawns.
Yes,
Yeah.
hamur and
Gulf
yeah, yeah.
prawns
Yes.
and the fresh Kuwaiti hamur. Yeah.
So, looking back at your incredible journey, what are some of the biggest lessons that you think you've learned?
Well, business is like it's like a war. And especially, it's a big challenge. So if you are sincere, if you are honest, if you are dedicated, and if you really focus on what you are exactly doing it, you cannot go wrong.
Wow.
So this is the lesson what I got.
And there's like
Means you have to be razor sharp on whatever goals you want to achieve. Like a razor, you have to be sharp. If you can spend time and you know what you want to achieve, I think you're on the
That's
right
it. So you have to be
But-
precise about
Yes.
the goal.
But of course, there are some skills that you've gathered around.
Well, that is an added advantage. Like I was a chef, it was a skill which I was carrying. So that was a very big added advantage to me. Those who don't have the cooking skills, of course, they have to struggle in the beginning, or they have to depend on the skilled staff.
There has to be like
But
some
in
challenges.
my case, when I started, for 10 years, I was working myself in the kitchen. So I was not dependent. I was just getting help.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
fair.
Sorry. So I just wanted to ask, what about the other skills that you've, acquired in your business? Like, for example, when you mentioned before we started the show that you don't forget faces, you don't forget names. You always, try to be because it shows how professional you are.
Yes.
This I picked up from by working in the hotels, because when you call a guest, when he enters into the lobby by his name, that is the first impression you are giving, that you are really missing him and you remembered him. So that is the
Yeah.
first personal touch you give to the guest. How impressed you were when I addressed you by your name.
Yes,
Yeah, that was
right. I was
awesome.
talking to my producer, our producer. I was like, he remembers my name. He just said my name, right? I was very proud.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it's actually nice. And like myself, I keep on forgetting people's names. So I will work my best now, because it felt different when she was shocked. She was happy. I was actually interested in how like it means something to the person that you talk to and meet. So basically, yes, I will try to improve that, dear
It
viewers.
just gives a personal touch to a person.
It does. And that is maybe the core of business.
Correct.
It makes
Yeah.
it personal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So the love for Kuwait, in your perspective. Now, you mentioned that you are blessed being here, and of course, there has to be something about Kuwait that is different from any other country. Can you mention that, and we let that be the last thing to wrap the episode with?
Why I said that we are blessed? First of all, it's a very peaceful country. People are very humble. They are very helpful. They are very resourceful. They don't let you feel that you are away from your home. And on top, whatever we are today, it is because of Kuwait. My whole family is in Kuwait. My wife also used to work for one of the most prestigious airlines in Kuwait. So we have no regrets, and we are very happy to be in this country. And if, as you said, comparison, I'll give you one line comparison, that we don't have to pay or worry about the electricity bills, water bills, nothing. Just stay, abide, obey the law of the country, which every citizen should
Yes.
abide by the law of the country. Otherwise, there is no problem in this country.
Wow.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
It's a
Now,
good reputation for Kuwait.
I do have one last question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Let's talk about the untold secret. If there is an untold secret recipe for success from your culinary journey in
Yeah,
Kuwait,
yeah.
what would be?
I'll again repeat, I think I mentioned in between the interview, that you have to be honest, sincere, be persistent, be resilient, and should have the focus to accept the challenge. So if you have these qualities, this
Thank you very
That's
much.
it. You can go ahead and
you can go
start.
ahead with whatever venture you want to do in Kuwait.
Yes. So thank you very
It's
much.
a beautiful place and beautiful country to work
It
and
is.
to stay.
It is.
And that was a very beautiful interview, actually. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you very
part of
much. Thank you. Thank you.
it. All right, dear viewers. So now let's take a quick break and get back to you to conclude this beautiful and lovely episode of The Untold. All right, dear viewers. So that's the end. Well, that was
Unfortunately.
fascinating.
Yes, unfortunately, we had to end this episode at some point, and I really did not want to end it because I was learning with every word he was saying. He's very sharp when it comes to business. He's very sharp when it comes to skills, not just, entrepreneurship, but also, the personal value that he has for people around him. I mean, not just us as hosts, but also once he
Yes.
entered You know, the way he entered,
Yes,
he
the way he
started.
greeted everyone and
Yes,
talked.
exactly.
And you mentioned something like it was correct at the very beginning and the intro that every time you get to learn something new from him, right?
Right? Did
So
you?
yes, I
Yes.
mean I can open my own restaurant right now.
Okay, let's
after
not
the-
get carried away. Right, okay.
So it was amazing, to be honest. He's
Yes.
successful and it was very
Definitely a fruitful interview.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So we will see you on another episode of The Untold, and stay tuned.